So, you're probably wondering what sorts of idiotic mistakes has this Florida man made in order to be deaf staring a 12-foot alligator out in the Everglades? To be honest, I don't know. I just think I'm retarded. Really tired, because I'm going to be spending all night looking for all sorts of cool critters, starting off with this nice looking leopard frog right here, which I decided to boop. Don't worry, he met a peaceful end, because this beautiful banded water snake gobbled him up right afterwards. And don't worry, he's not venomous either, at least not to me. While this adorable baby alligator might be harmless to me, his mama ain't, so I gotta be extremely careful while filming. Thankfully, this guy was not intimidated by my light, because if he was, he'd call for mama and I'd be Another cool baby animal I found was this greater siren. These guys could get up to 3 feet long, but this one was absolutely tiny and adorable. And if anybody's wondering why Florida's axolotls basically look like a giant freakish eel, I don't know, ask a real biologist. On a more serious note, you should always be careful while driving in wilderness areas, because unfortunately snakes like this little Florida brown snake will often get hit by cars, but after moving him off the road, I think he'll be lucky and live. While this southern toad right here might disapprove of my decision, what can I say? I'm willing to save any animal, even the ugly ones like this, which remind me of my ex. Speaking of my ex, this ribbon snake just tried to crawl up my pants. Getting assaulted by a snake is not the weirdest thing that's happened to me out in the Everglades, but it is easily a top 3. Buddy, it's nighttime. You don't even need a bask. In other words, I'm trying to get this giant alligator out of the way so I could find some cool looking salamanders. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to succeed because even though swamp puppies aren't that aggressive, I'm not that insane. And now you can see a bunch of crazy leopard grasshoppers trying to make some twin towers. Totally not a bad idea. And nearby was this hypophase banded water snake, which probably would have eaten him if it wasn't for the fact that those grasshoppers are poisonous. And if you are wondering, this right here is not a snake, but a glass lizard. If you call this thing a snake, I will block you from my channel, because it is not a snake. You can look it up. Speaking of common misconceptions, here's a 9-banded armadillo. These guys cannot curl up into a ball like your dream fetish, but can instead give you leprosy and a flat tire, which is pretty nice. I'll be honest, I don't even want to talk about this animal. I know tropical orb weavers are harmless, but skip it. Next. Now here's one of my favorite invasive species, the Cuban tree frog. These guys are notoriously louder and larger than their American cousins. Oh yeah, and here's a native green tree frog, kind of like Kermit. He's pretty cute. And if you're wondering, they both make that marble noise, but one's definitely louder than the other. And here's a baby brown water snake. He'd gladly eat them both if it wasn't for the fact that he was busy being violated by some damn fire ants. I hate ants. And this alligator decided to come over and try to assault me. For food, that is. Even though alligators aren't that aggressive, you should never feed them as it's illegal in the state of Florida and could lead to them associating humans with food, or even worse, you getting a not so fun trip to the hospital. Thankfully though, this ribbon snake cannot hospitalize me. These guys are rear-fanged venomous, but their venom is harmless to humans. Whoa. That gator fight and the falling thunder is not so harmless. I don't know how these animals do it. Maybe that's why so many animals out here are poisonous and venomous. I mean, it is pretty hard to survive out in the Everglades after all. Even this innocent looking millipede right here has a highly neurotoxic poison which you could get high off of. On a lighter note, this is one of my favorite alligators. This is Tripod. She's got 3 legs and 1 eye. But she still has one hell of an attitude, and thankfully her 1 eye makes it so that she can't watch all the crimes I'm committing. In addition to a lot of crimes out here, there's also a lot of flies in addition to all sorts of wonderful nocturnal birds such as this killdeer, which sadly flew off at a moment's notice. This drunk opossum though was nice enough to let me film him for a few minutes. Sadly, mammals like this aren't as common as they used to be, but at least we still got some cool invasives out in the Everglades like this Cuban tree frog which won't shut up unless you like and subscribe.